In 1912, the largest ship in the world, the Titanic, was ready for its first voyage. Thousands of the richest people on Earth were lined up to buy a ticket. Everyone wanted to be part of history, but there was one man who canceled his ticket at the very last second. He wasn't just a passenger. He was the owner of the ship. But conspiracy theorists, they call it a cold-blooded murder. Because when the Titanic went down into the freezing ocean, all of JPMorgan's biggest enemies went down with it. The Titanic is gone. But JPMorgan's power is still here. Today, the bank he built, JPMorgan Chase, doesn't just manage money, it manages governments. They decide who gets rich and who stays poor. This isn't just a story about a bank. This is the story of the man who bought the world. Welcome to the Money Files. To understand how this bank became so powerful, we first have to understand the man who built it. John Pierpont Morgan was not your average banker. He didn't sit in a bright office smiling at customers. He was a man who lived in the shadows. If you saw him in real life, you would probably look away in fear. Suffered from a rare skin condition that made his nose look purple and deformed. He hated it. He was ashamed of it, destroyed almost every photo that showed his real face. But he used this fear to his advantage. When people walked into his office, he didn't speak. He just stared at them. One look from JP Morgan was enough to make grown men tremble. He didn't care about the rules. He didn't care about fairness. He believed that competition was a sin, wanted total control. He bought railroads, he bought steel mills, and he bought electricity companies. He wasn't trying to build a business, he was building an empire. And by the early 1900s, he had become more powerful than the President of the United States. In fact, the government didn't tell him what to do. He told the government what to do. But having money is one thing. Having absolute power is something else. In 1907, the American dream turned into a nightmare. The stock market crashed. Banks started collapsing one by one. People were running in the streets, screaming, trying to pull their life savings out of the vaults. The government was helpless. Back then, there was no Federal Reserve to print money. The United States was about to go bankrupt. So, the president didn't call the army. He didn't call Congress. He called JP Morgan. Morgan didn't panic. He was sitting in his library, playing cards. He invited the most powerful bankers in New York to his private mansion. When they arrived, they were arguing and shouting. They didn't want to help the failing banks. Morgan listened quietly. Then he did something legendary. He walked to the massive door of his library, locked it, and put the key in his pocket. He turned around and told them, "Nobody leaves this room until you agree to give me $25 million to save the country." The bankers were trapped, were terrified of him. One by one, they surrendered. They signed the checks. In just one night, JP Morgan single-handedly saved the United States of America. He was a hero. But the world realized something very scary that night. If one man has the power to save the economy, he also has the power to destroy it. JP Morgan died in his sleep a few years later. But the monster he created didn't die. It grew. It ate its competitors, swallowed smaller banks. And today, it is known as JP Morgan Chase. It is the largest bank in the United States and the largest bank in the world by market cap. But these are just boring numbers. Let me tell you what they actually mean. Imagine you wake up in the morning, the alarm clock you turn off. The company that made it probably borrowed money from JP Morgan. The coffee you drink? The shipping containers that brought the beans were financed by JP Morgan. The credit card in your wallet? It likely has their name on it. They hold over $3 trillion in assets. There's more money than the entire economy of the United Kingdom or India. But here's the scary part. They don't just hold money. They hold secrets. In 2013, they paid a $13 billion fine for selling bad mortgages that caused the 2008 crash. Did anyone go to jail? No. Did the CEO get fired? No. He got a raise. Because when you are this big, the laws don't apply to you. You are the law. They have become exactly what JP Morgan wanted 100 years ago. An octopus with tentacles wrapped around every part of your life. So, we are left with one final question. Is it safe for one single bank to have this much power? The government says yes. They call JP Morgan too big to fail. They say that if this bank collapses, the entire world economy will collapse with it, so they protect it. They feed it. They let it break the rules. But history teaches us a painful lesson. JPMorgan believed he was untouchable. He believed he could control the oceans and the markets. But remember, he also said the Titanic was unsinkable. He said it was too big to fail, and we all know how that story ended. In the end, no empire lasts forever. Not even this one. If you want to know the truth about the money in your pocket, make sure to subscribe to the Money Files. I'll see you in the next one.